Phantasialand is home to some of the world's best roller coasters. You have Taron, Black Mamba, so many more. I was lucky enough to take my sister and I to Phantasialand on my recent trip to Cologne, and what a wonderful park this is. I'd describe it as Alton Towers on steroids, if you'd ask me, with similar height restrictions, ingenious rides, and, well, to be frank, a better nemesis. Please don't kill me, viewers. Whilst also having world-class theming. Today I'm going to be ranking my top 20 rides at Phantasialand. I said it right this time. And do make sure to keep watching to see what my number one is. And if you are interested in any of my future projects, I have a bunch of videos on my way, and I'm not lying this time. So do make sure to subscribe, else you may miss them. Oh no! I should also quickly add, as is the norm with these lists, I'll be doing more detail the further down we go. Let's jump into it. At 20th place, I've put Der Lustige Papagegi, or as I would describe it, the German jungle bus. Sorry about pronunciation. I went to this park with my sister, and she loved the jungle bus as a kid, so it was fun, and a walk down memory lane to get back on this beautiful attraction. Other than nostalgia, there isn't much I have to say about this one, to be honest. Number 19 is the Puff de Rossel.
Pferdekarussell.
A double-tiered carousel. Now that is very cool. There is horses on this ride, in case you hadn't noticed, and it even has my surname inside of its name. And now I've doxed my surname on YouTube. Shit. Number 18 is Tikau. This duo of family drop towers, although not mysterious or in a castle, they're both still fun. Number 17 is the Tittle Tattle Tree, a weird observation tower. It's surrounded by the Wingers twins, and that means it gets some fun views. It's only here because of cuteness. Number 16 is the Fengju Palace. It's the Vekoma Madhouse, and not the greatest one out there. It's severely outdated pre-show, and has limited theming in the main show. But the inverting effect is, quite convincing still. Wellenflug is at number 15. This is the picturesque chair swing at the end of the Berlin Main Street. You cannot knock a chair swing if you ask me. Especially one with this beautiful fountain pattern. It really does add to the prettiness of the ride. Number 14 is Geister Rikscha. This is the park's classic dark ride. It's an omni-mover with great theming around Chinese mythology. Whilst I enjoyed this ride, it did feel a bit tired and unloved by both the park and visitors, sadly. Still worth a ride, but maybe not multiple. Number 13 is Hotel Tartuffe. This is an incredible walkthrough attraction with lots of fun scenes and rooms. Not everybody might class this as a ride per se, but, well, I didn't ask them, did I? At number 12 is our first roller coaster on the list, Crazy Bat. This is an enjoyable indoor family coaster. I make sure that's clear right now. It has VR, and as you guessed it, they show crazy bats. As much of this ride was fun, it was definitely not worth the longest queue in the park. I could have ridden Taron 3 times in this period instead of queuing for this fucking ride. So make sure to be there or be square if you're wanting the credit. And number 11 is Mouse or Chocolat, the first chocolate shooting dark ride. I don't know why I did chocolates. First shooting dark ride on the list. Such a great and unique premise this has, with great theming between the screen-based shooting segments. This ride, although great, in my opinion, may have benefited from having some more practical targets to shoot, as well as just the screens. Not as good as Toon Blaster, but on par with Laser Raiders in UK theme park standards. What else can I say about this ride? Mouse. We have now hit our top 10, and at number 10 we have Rake. This is a Vekoma boomerang coaster, which intertwines with Taron, which makes some trippy visuals if you ask me, especially when I didn't know the layout at all when I went into this. As much as I loved riding this, I do have to point out my experience was possibly skewed due to having a legendary ride operator, meaning this ride could ordinarily be one spot lower on any other day. Um, Give Puget a flipping raise, please. Speaking of flipping, number 9 is Talocan. It feels a crime putting this Mayan top scan at such a low spot. It's the best themed flat I've ever ridden. However, it just goes to show really how stacked this park is in terms of its lineup, and why this is considered by many to be the world's best theme park. Talocan is a ride with strong forceful flips, more forceful than my body can really handle, to be honest, and the can't speak that word, trippy curved wall really throws off your senses when riding this. It feels you don't know where the sky is, where the floor is, where my brain is, if I had one. It's a very good ride, but definitely not as good as my number 8 spot. That being the Windjust Twins. I know this is technically 2 roller coasters, but the dueling and same model means I kind of want to put them together here. Can't cut Jungle Bus 2 from the list, you see. My first ride was on Force, and the surprise elements on this were really off-putting. I didn't know anything that was going on. My second ride was on Fear, which definitely blew me away. It was the stronger layout, but the surprise elements were a bit weaker, so I feel like I got the right order by complete chance. They're both better in my eyes than Dragon's Fury and Spinball Wizard, so beating the UK again, I see. Number 7 is River Quest. I have to be honest, I'm not normally a fan of water rides, but this Rapids ride is next level. There's great theming, fun surprises, and massive slopes. This sold the water ride experience to me and was worth the 80-minute queue because I was too foolish to rush it at the start of the day. And remember, if you get soaked, ride Mystery Castle next door to dry off. It is effective as well as fun. Speaking of which, number 6 is the aforementioned Mystery Castle. Now, I knew nothing about this ride going in, except that it was a drop tower of some kind. I mean, who would have guessed Albert Einstein would be in such a mysterious castle? This has a great ride sequence. In the queue, all you hear are screams from riders as the windows of the station door are blacked out, which builds suspense. I can't really talk about any further details, sadly, because I'm not going to spoil the ride. But just know that this is my favourite flat ride at Phantasialand. The Mystery Castle's airtime is definitely not as strong as number 5, Colorado Adventure. What the fuck is going on with the airtime on this ride? Feels like I'm flying to the moon. This is the best family thrill roller coaster I have ever done. It beats Mandrill Mayhem on my list, beats 13, beats the Smiler. Doesn't, that's a lie. It's the second drop. It's got this nuts hill. I fly out my seat into in the restraints, and because it's a mine train, it actually kind of hurts, but it's insane. I would definitely recommend. Still on the back row, powerful airtime outrivals Taron. Number 4, we have Chiapas. This ride is amazing. It's the best log flume I've ever done, and I suspect in the world. It's got amazing theming. It's got disco. What other log flume has a disco? It's also got a brilliant scenery when you go final drop. It's like a bridge that goes past it, and you get amazing views of the splashdown and the final hill. And I believe it's the steepest log flume in the world. Can't guarantee it, but it's definitely the best. So we are left with our big 3 roller coasters. The better Nemesis, the better Galactica, and the better Rita, I guess. All these rides are incredible, and all of them are in my top 5 until maybe next year, and would be classed in my eyes as perfect roller coasters. I mean, these 3 coasters could position anywhere due to such minor different changes on my top 5, and on this list actually. It's the same thing really. Especially the second and third places, depending on what you all think is the best thing about a roller coaster. I could see any of these being flipped, inverted in your rankings, but at number 3 I have put F.L.Y, the Vekoma prototype next-gen flying roller coaster. Now, this was incredible. I do have to mention, the reliability of F.L.Y on my visit was very poor. Me and my sister had it break down for 30 minutes every single time we got to the station. It was a skill issue, but It wasn't terrible considering the immaculate theming within the station, but it definitely limited our rides because we only got 4 rides to make up the judgment. Um, I can see on a better day it being second and first place. Uh, Give us stuff. That is my only reason though. I found the best restraints really uncomfortable, especially on my first 2 rides. I mean, I always find them a little bit uncomfortable, even on stuff like the Swarm, but it really damaged my ride experience. But the third and fourth rides, for whatever reason, I had no issues with it at all. I don't know what changed. I don't know if I was just really bad for the first few rides, but if I did something wrong or if there's a genuine reason. But it did slightly hinder my judgment a little. However, there is a lot of good things about this ride. It is in third place, and I definitely was debating putting it in second. This ride is perfect outside of my own comfort issues. Rookburg is the most themed and my favourite land in any theme park. The flying airtime that you receive, especially after the launches, were nuts. The coaster is buttery smooth and still. It was just outside my top 5 on my initial rides, even with the discomfort, but especially after the fourth, I was blown away, and it's all the way up there now. Fourth place, I think I've got it right now. It's not as good as another launch ride at this park, but my god, is this good. I want to rank this higher, it deserves higher, but I just think that Black Mamba is a superior ride and takes the number 2 spot. As of 2024, I may have only ridden 3 B&M inverts, but this thing cooked, managing to get me to grey out, nearly black out, something which has never happened to me before, may I add. I did get all my rides in the last 5-10 minutes before park closure, maybe half hour, give it a push. And therefore, when I was as dehydrated as I was in that summer heat, the grey outs. Oh my god. Did mean that this coaster may have been overranked on my list, whilst Fly was underranked. I do acknowledge that. But I stand by my placement of it. From my rides on this ride, it was clear that Fly exceeded my expectations, but not as much as this ride. This ride was bonkers. The elements were whippy, with tunnels, rockwork enhancing the ride. Feel really fast actually. I know it was the end of the day, but it was super speedy and it was unique. But now we have reached my number one, not only at Phantasialand, but in the world. It's pretty obvious what it is by now. Of course, it's Taron. Not only is this the best ride at Phantasialand, but I would also say it's my current number one roller coaster anywhere. Punchy launches, whippy transitions. The strong lateral Gs, they aren't my favourite sensation, but when going through sharp turns in scenery, it's bonkers. It enhances the experience massively. Klugheim is a world-class land in terms of theming, and although it doesn't match Rookburg, it definitely gets a second place worldwide. I think Taron has my 2 favourite moments on any roller coaster. The first being that intense airtime hill near the start of the ride, where it almost turns into a drop and curves through one of the many buildings. And the second being the end of the second launch, actually. Not when you're launching, it's the end of it, when you're blasting upwards at 60 miles an hour. And if you're on the left side, you get doused in a mystical waterfall water. Of course, it's water. Anyway, can't speak. It was very refreshing on my hot summer days and very unexpected. Distracts you as you go into the slow airtime hills at the top, which some people complain about, but especially when the water's in your face, it befuddles you a bit. Um, People also complain that this ride dies out at the end of each half, but I disagree. It's the perfect coaster in my eyes, and definitely the best at Phantasialand. But this isn't the right ranking, it's just my ranking. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below if you got this far. I also quickly want to apologise for disappearing. Heck, there's been a whole A level since my last video. I know I'm back, but that is a very long time, and I am sorry. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your ranking and thoughts in the comments section, even if you haven't ridden it. What do you think would be your number one? And subscribe. More videos are ready to be released.